to Trout right here on News Talk Saga 960 AM, the official podcast of the Brampton Steelheads. Welcome in here. My name is Mike Karafilidis, along with my partner Brendan Lang. We're both broadcasters for the Brampton Steelheads. And let's start off. Brendan, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I know we always talk about just kind of how the same thing's been going on. I actually, since the last time we talked, I've been to two different concerts, so that was some exciting times. We have, as of recording today, the Toronto Raptors get underway today, so I'm excited to watch them tonight. Got the NBA kicked off yesterday with the Lakers and Celtics winning yesterday, so definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, it's been a pretty, I guess, eventful few days since the last time we talked on here for me. But other than that, just getting work done like usual. And yeah, that's pretty much it though. It's been a pretty good few days.
Yeah, good. That's good, man. Like, you know what I like? I like wearing shorts right now at this in this weather, right? It's just unbelievable. At the end of October, I'm wearing shorts right now. I remember at this time, I think last year I was wearing jeans and sweatshirts and whatnot, right? But the weather's been great just to get outside and whatnot, right? So
No, it's been awesome. I mean, I get up pretty early. I know you do as well. The
mhm.
only thing is that when you go outside in the morning, I need pants, and then when I leave work, I'm sweating because I have pants on. That's the
Yeah.
only problem. It's a little cooler in the morning, and then it just gets warm. So,
Yeah.
but I agree though. I agree. Wearing shorts at this time because I was out last night for one of the concerts, and it was even around like 10 o'clock. It was still warm. I was still wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and it was
There you go.
beautiful outside.
What concerts did you see?
I saw a guy named MJ Lenderman. Never heard of him before. One of my friends had an
Okay.
extra ticket, so I went to see him. That was at Lee's Palace in Toronto, so it was a pretty good spot. And then yesterday I saw a band called the Drive-By Truckers. They
Nice. I love the name of
they,
that.
yeah, my uncle is a fan, so it was his birthday, so we went there
That's nice.
to check them out. That was at the Danforth Music Hall, first time I'd been there, so cool spot to see as well.
Very cool. What are they called again? The truckers? The
The
truckers on
Drive-By Truckers.
the drive-by truckers. I'm gonna have to remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe these
And I
guys are
guess we
gonna be
did too.
famous one day, right? There
Yeah,
you
well,
go.
they're a little old. I think that lead singer's like 62. Like they've been around for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You
So
saw their birthday and all
yeah.
that. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's good. So, um, let's talk briefly. Let's get through it quickly here before our guest comes on. Let's go through what we're going to be talking about here today. We're going to talk about the Steelheads' last two games. Our special guest in this episode is going to be Spencer Sova, assistant captain of your Brampton Steelheads, former captain of the Erie Otters, come over here in the off season. Then we're going to talk about the CHL top 10. Then we're going to talk about, got any surprises in that CHL top 10 that you see out of the OHL teams, or that we see out of the OHL teams. We're going to talk about, who needs to step up for the Steelheads, of course. And NHL preliminary scouting list is up. So we're going to talk about that. There's some Steelheads on that list and whatnot. But let's talk about the last two games, Brendan. Let's start off with last Friday against the Ottawa 67s, which was a 3-2 huge win. I mean, absolutely huge win in a shootout against that Ottawa team.
Yeah, massive win. We talked about how big of a homestand this would be. The three games, they still have one left coming up against the Barrie Colts here on Friday. When this episode comes out, it'll have been played already. But to start it out by getting a win and a game where I think they started off a little bit slow against an Ottawa team that kind of held some offensive zone time quite a bit in the first period. And then the Steelheads kind of ramped it up a little bit and a little bit more as they went on in the game. And to get that game to a shootout, Ottawa also was riding a 3-game losing streak coming into it. They had just blown a lead the night before against the Niagara Ice Dogs, so you knew that they'd be bringing a lot of energy to start the game. But the Steelers did a great job of kind of weathering that storm from Ottawa and just getting it to the end where they were able to get through overtime. It's well documented the struggles that they've had in overtime going back to last year and in the game that we'll talk about here in a moment. So to get through overtime and then get to the shootout, also awesome for Jacob Gibbons to get his first win as a Brampton Steelhead. Great to see that. And Now we know Jack Ivankovic will be back in the net this Friday as he's back from suspension. But for Jacob Gibbons, I think that's just a big kind of confidence booster. You get in quite a few games here with Ivankovic getting suspended. You get into 4 games with him getting suspended early in the year. You get that first win out of the way. So now when he's going to be needed going forward, I think he'll probably be a little more comfortable in the net. And I thought he looked really good the 2 games that they played this weekend. Like, he looked really solid against Ottawa and also looked really solid against Saginaw as well. So definitely a lot of positives coming from that one. And then of course the game against Saginaw, which we can talk to about in a moment. But the Ottawa game, a good win for sure.
Yeah, it was really, really good. 2 things that really stood out to me: the shootout. Porter Martone 500 head fakes there when he was coming in on the shootout, and absolutely beat Colin McKenzie. I mean, what a shootout goal that was. And 2, Jacob Gibbons, his confidence level. When I interviewed him after the game, again, he had a great game that day. And what he said really, really got to me. He said, he goes, "I'm getting more confidence now," he said. And he goes, "Everything's slowing down." And when he said that, that's key for a goaltender if everything's slowing down, right? And he had a great game, and he had a great game in Saturday. He had a nice game on Saturday as well. But something, if this ever happens again with Jack, hopefully not, right? With Jack Ivankovic, then they know that Jacob Gibbons can come in and do the job, which he did a great job of on Friday. So kudos to that. But it seemed like, Ottawa, they're playing like just lining up everybody in the back of the blue line and saying, "All right, if you guys can beat us, okay, go ahead. Come get us," like a wall every time the Steelers would come up. So Dave Cameron structure, that's the way what I have to say. And it was kind of shutting down the Steelheads in the beginning.
Yeah, it was. You had talked about it, actually. We were talking about it in the broadcast booth, how you were saying, they were kind of playing like a defensive structure through the neutral zone. So it again, kind of maybe surprised them or shut them down a little bit in the beginning of the game, but they did a great job of, fighting through that and picking up a big 2 points and a big, 3 out of possible 4 points over the weekend.
And I thought against Saginaw too, if it wasn't for 2 turnovers, it was 2 turnovers, 2 goals, pretty much. The Steelers turned the puck over, right? If they didn't turn the puck over against the Saginaw Spirit, they had that game wrapped up, I thought, because they outplayed Saginaw, they outplayed them in their zone, they outplayed them whatnot. So, your thoughts about that too?
Yeah, I thought in that game that they did outplay them in multiple facets of the game, and sometimes it just doesn't come to fruition with the win. So for the Steelheads, I mean, you get into overtime again. We've talked about just the overtime struggles that they had a season ago, kind of rearing their ugly head a little bit in the overtime frame there.
Yeah,
3-2 loss to 5 seconds in. Christian Epperson scores. But you look at the shots. I mean, 31-21. I think Brampton, held the offensive zone time probably for the majority of that game. So again, it's good kind of 3 points to get back into it after losing 3 straight going into the weekend.
All right, so let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have our special guest, Spencer Sova, assistant captain of your Brampton Steelheads. And you'll hear from him when we come back right here in Trout Talk on Saga 960 AM. Welcome back to Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM. Mike Karafilidis along with Brendan Lang. And we'd like to bring in our special guest, assistant captain of your Brampton Steelheads defenseman. And there he is, the man, Spencer Sova. The $1 million smile. Looks like he's ready to rock and roll over there. All right, Spencer, first off, let's start off. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just had a good practice today and kind of laying low for the rest of the night, so can't complain.
That's great. We were just talking a little bit about before you came on the past 2 games this weekend. So, of course, going into the weekend, riding a 3-game losing streak. How'd you feel about the weekend, and obviously breaking that on Friday, and then ultimately coming up short against Saginaw there on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously good to break the losing streak. You kind of never want to go down that rabbit hole as a team, and it was definitely good to snap that this weekend. And 3 out of 4 points coming out of that weekend, going into the next. So pretty positive from all the guys in the room.
Okay, so let's. How was practice this week so far? I mean, have you guys been yelling at each other, screaming at each other, all that kind of stuff in a positive way? Talk about practice.
I think I got you there. Yeah, it was pretty positive this week. We the guys are all head up high, and we've had a good week with just chemistry and stuff, and no one's really being too hard on themselves. So I think we're really positive going into this weekend.
Excellent.
And as a leader, of course, you get brought over in the offseason from the Erie Otters and named to the leadership group as an assistant captain this year at the Steelheads. When you are going through maybe a stretch like that early on in the season, and as an older guy in the league as well, what kind of maybe insights are you providing to guys on the team when maybe you're going through those kind of stretches?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of, don't think about the last game and just focus on, the task at hand. And I feel like, when we do that as a group, we did our last game, we won, and it was kind of just all focus on the next shift, the next play, and no one was really kind of thinking about mistakes they made earlier or anything like that. It was just good chemistry throughout the whole room, and that's what it takes to be an elite team. Just keep going shift by shift. So.
All right, Spencer. So you're at New Jersey Devils camp in the off season. Talk about what you learned from there and what you can bring back from the Devils camp, to the guys, to the team, and whatnot.
Yeah, I think just how to be a pro and how to treat other people and treat your teammates and treat your body as well. I think there's a lot of great tips that they've given me, and obviously the other NHL camps I've been to, I've learned a lot from those teams as well, and I think it's good for guys who haven't been in that situation before to kind of get knowledge through me. I'm kind of like the middleman there, but obviously at that level, it's tough to make. Thankfully, I've seen kind of the insides of it and how it works, and I think it's definitely great to bring those kind of pointers back to the group. So.
And of course, being in New Jersey camp this past year, and you just said, you've been to 3 different camps here with the Leafs. So the year before that, are there like big differences between the 3 that you went to, or are they all pretty similar? Like, how does that kind of look?
Yeah, they're all different in their own way, but I guess that's just how the teams are ran and stuff. But they were all great, like unbelievable experiences. Met so many new guys and made a lot of friendships along the way. So yeah, I mean they were all great.
So you were a captain, of course, with the Erie Otters before you came over, and you got the A with the Brampton Steelheads, well deserved, of course. So to me, I don't know. Like, you're not are you like a raw kind of assistant captain? Hey, let's go, or are you the type of guy, like to just show on the ice kind of thing? Because to me, you're like, I'm gonna call you the silent assassin from now on. You just you're all business, right? So talk about that.
Yeah, I'll obviously be vocal, when I need to be, but I think I show a lot of leadership through just my play and my practice habits and how hard I work in the gym and stuff like that, and just try to lead by example. So and when it's game time, it's all business for me, and I want to do everything I can to help the team win. And obviously I bring kind of that experience now, being an older guy to the team, and so just try to be a leader in that sort of aspect.
I'd say, because you know what, when you work out, my gosh, like your legs are like this, and I'm like, what does this guy do? Like, it just like the soul, like fit. And I think to myself, my God, I gotta ask this guy what he does in the gym. But we'll talk about that another time. My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I just all hard work. So.
Good for you, man. You look like $1 million. Sorry, Brendan. Sorry to cut you
Oh,
off.
no, it's all good. I want to go back to the trade a little bit with Erie, of course, and being a captain there. I mean, how difficult was that? I mean, you were the leader as the captain last year, of course, assistant captain the year before that, obviously really close with a lot of the guys there. So what was the experience like getting traded?
Yeah. I mean, the captaincy in Erie, it felt very right to me. I felt like I could do really well with that role, and I feel like I did a great job of connecting our group and kind of growing as a team. And obviously, when I got traded, I'll miss all the guys there. Their friendships I'll have for life, but stuff like that happens, and I think it's really great that I got picked up by Brampton, and I was super excited because I know all the young talent we have here, and I knew some of the guys over the summer, like met a couple of them when I was up here in Toronto, and it was great, and the transition was really easy for me. All the guys on the team are unreal. The staff here is great, and I've absolutely no complaints, and it was a really easy transition for me, which I really appreciate from all the guys and the staff. So,
some people might forget this, Spencer, but you played with Team Canada U18 from 2021 2022. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, that was a great experience. It was obviously my first time representing my country, and we had some problems during COVID and stuff. I wish some other events and stuff didn't get canceled, but what happens, and so I was really pumped to go, and we had a really good team. Playing with players like Bedard, Fantilli, and some of those guys who are just unreal, and it was an honor for me to get named assistant captain, obviously with Bedard captain and Fantilli the other assistant. And the tournament didn't really go the way we wanted. We lost in the quarters and overtime, but stuff like that happens, and you can't go back and change that. But it was a really good group of guys, and I had a blast over there in Germany, and it was an experience I'll never forget.
Germany.
Talk about the experience being in Germany. I've never been to
Beautiful.
Germany either. What's it like over there?
Yeah, it's crazy how much different Europe is to here. It was we were in Landshut, Germany, and the everything just feels like so much more slowed down over there, and more calm. People aren't as busy, and it was just great experience. So
yeah, that's the way people are in Europe, right? They're just like, they're so happy just to be alive. They wake up in the morning, they go, "Oh, good morning," and it's just like, everything just slows right down. That's true. All right, so we're gonna circle back a little bit here. We're gonna get to know Spencer Sova a little bit. We like to keep things a little bit light here in this podcast. A lot of podcasts are very, very serious and whatnot, but we're serious, but we joke around at the same time. So, Spencer, what is the favorite thing you like to do in the off season?
I'm a big golfer. I love to golf. I think that, and the town I live in is we're on the water, so we get out on the boat a lot, and wake surf, wakeboard, and all that stuff. So that kind of keeps me busy over the summer.
You get out on the boat a lot. Do you fish? Is fishing on the agenda?
I didn't fish this summer. I did once actually, but I know a lot of my cousins and stuff are big fishermen, so I always see them doing it. And I'd love to go. I just every time we go out there, I'm just addicted to the wake surfing. So that's kind of my go-to.
So if you could travel to one place in the world, where would it be? I'll tell you my place first. The North Pole. Go ahead. just to see what it's like. Yeah, I'd love to check it out for the day. Yeah.
A town called North Pole, Alaska, and like the street lights are candy canes and everything, and it's really funny. But shout out to Cam Van Sickle. I played minor hockey with him, but any place in the world, I don't know. I like being in like the mountains and stuff. I'd say probably like New Zealand would be a sick place to be.
Yeah.
surf and stuff, and it's beautiful there, and that's definitely something on my bucket list, where a place I would want to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be an interesting place for sure. No, I was just wondering how you got started playing hockey, like as a kid. Was it were your parents into hockey? Was it something new for the family? Like how did you get into it?
Got you. Yeah, I think my dad played hockey when he was little. He didn't play. Uh, he didn't play into his like teen years or anything, but I mean, in Windsor, it's kind of like a hockey town, and so my parents just put me in super young. I think when my brother started, I started as well, so I kind of got an early jump on some of the kids my age, but yeah, they just put me in it, and I fell in love with hockey, and never kind of looked at anything else. That was just my main sport, and as much as I could be on the ice, I'd love to be out there shooting pucks in my driveway and everything like that. So yeah, I just kind of fell in love super young, and definitely was something that I knew from a young age I wanted to pursue. So
when you were traded, or your feelings right now, okay, so you're traded here to Brampton. I just want to know your feelings about the team right now. Is it, when you're traded, like, is this a team that you feel that can go all the way
yeah, I
compared to
do.
other teams that you've played on?
I do 100%. I believe in this group heavily. It didn't even take me a week to realize how special this group is. And, I think we have a lot of hype around our group. So, we're going to get other teams' best every night. And so that's going to be tough for us. But I think we're figuring out how to handle that. And, I think we may have been in a bit of a slump, but I don't think that'll affect us at all. I feel like if anything, it's going to make us stronger as a group, and I'm really positive, and our play so far, and I think we just keep getting better every game, and I think some of the guys in our team don't realize how special we are, and but I think that'll change pretty soon. Like our group is so tight and so close that I don't think we'll have an issue at all going down the road, playing games, connecting, chemistry, all that stuff. And, I truly believe we can be a powerhouse. So.
And you had mentioned a little bit earlier on about the coming to the team and everybody being welcoming. You talk about the staff as well. What's it been like playing for James Richmond and working with Matt Chiartano as well as the defense coach?
Yeah, it's been great. I love JR's approach to the game, and the systems we play, and it allows for the defense to kind of be up and in play as well, which I like, and I think Maddie's done a great job with the development and everything, and JR as well. Our skill development's been great. Our systems work has been unbelievable. Every day I feel like I'm getting better with those guys, and they're great people as well. I feel like I can go talk to any of the coaches whenever I want and stuff, and they're really open to me, and which I love, and so I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, you've walked into a great situation here. Wow. I mean, I'm going to ask you the same question I think that I asked Carson, the Razor Rakoff. So, because you're new to the team, so you play for Stan Butler, of course, and now you play for James Richmond. So, what are the coaching styles like? What's different about the coaching styles?
I don't know. I think there's just more movement in our style of play. I go from playing a 1-2-2 to a 2-1-2, which now I have to be more gapped up and not kind of play a trap or anything like that. And so I like that because I like to think I'm a good skater. So
I'd
I
say.
like to buzz around, yeah, and which I like, and I like both coaching styles. Stan Butler was a great coach, great guy to me, and all the staff in Erie was so kind and respectful, and I can't thank them enough for what they've done for me. But yeah, I just think it's a good change, and in the style of play, and I really like playing our systems and stuff, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
And one part of the system that you had said there too is getting the defense up and involved offensively, and that's obviously a huge part of your game. Now, is that the way that you've always played? Was there a coach that kind of got you more doing that? Like, how did that work?
I love watching you skate before you go answer the question.
For sure.
Just to let you know. All right, go ahead. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I've kind of always played that way. If I get caught up in the play or something, I just trust my skating to get me back, and so I feel like I can recover a lot once I get up there, and I also like leading the rush, and kind of breaking into the zone.
Last question for me, Spencer Souls, is, you know what? Do you have any? I've never seen, like, I know. Do you have any superstitions before the game? Because I was going to say, I see you running a lot. So do you have like a thing where you run like 3 laps and you stop, or 3.5, or something like that? Or,
You know what? When I get to the rink, I hop in the shower and kind of reset, kind of feel fresh for the game, and always take my stick the same way, roll out, do the same, reps on the rollout, and same stretches before the game. And then, yeah, I run back to the room because I have a heat pack on my back. So I got to go take that off, come back in my sweater. And then once I get too hot in my sweater, I run back, put a T-shirt on, and then I'm ready to go for a warm-up. That's why I'm running back and forth. But
yeah, okay, yeah,
and
you're a running machine, man. I tell you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it
wow.
flushes the legs and stuff too. So why not? You know what I mean?
That's awesome. All right, Spencer, thank you so much for coming on and on Trout Talk, and of course we'll have you on during the season more and more and more. The season's just begun. It's so young. You're doing a great job out there. Keep up with the workouts and those legs. You got to keep those legs nice and pumped. My goodness me. And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Spencer.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Have a good one. All right, so that was Spencer Sova of your Brampton Steelheads. We'll talk about that interview when we come back right here on Saga 960 AM. All right, welcome back to Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM. Mike Karafilidis along with Brendan Lang. We're both broadcasters of the Brampton Steelheads. We're just talking to Spencer Sova, newly acquired from the Erie Otters this offseason. And I'm going to say this, Brendan, another pro.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, I think that's a great word to describe him too. Is a pro, and he's been to 3 different NHL camps, so that helps so much just to see the habits and what goes on in those types of scenarios, and seeing it in different organizations as well. I think is also something that would definitely help create that kind of pro feeling that we get talking to Spencer there, and like you said, it helps on the ice and off the ice going to these kind of camps. So yeah. I do think that he is such a great addition to the team. Of course, when you look at the defense core, Chaz Sharp going out the door, who was a huge piece of the team a season ago, the captain overager, and then bringing in Spencer Sova to help on the ice, of course, but also help in the room as well. And Chaz Sharp was a big part of that, being in the room, part of the leadership group, of course, as the captain. When he spoke, everybody listened. So that is kind of now following into the shoes here with Spencer Sova.
Yeah, you could totally see that with him. He's he's a quiet leader, as he said, but when he speaks up, and you can that's why he's been a captain. He's a guy that played with Bedard, and he played with Fantilli. He played, my goodness, in that U18 2021-2022 season, assistant captain. I mean, If you're assistant captain over there, and he's always been assistant captain, well deserved. I mean, he's such a good kid, and his skating is unbelievable. His defense is unbelievable. Season's so young. He's already got 8 points in 8 games, right? I mean, pretty good.
I'd say so.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. All right, so let's move on. Brendan, CHL top 10 just came out. We'll go through the OHL teams right now. Brampton Steelheads sitting in third, Windsor Spitfires in sixth. This is CHL, folks, not the OHL top 10. So just to say, and 8, the London Knights. 9, the Niagara Ice Dogs, still hanging around. That honeymoon still hanging around, if you ask me. So that's an extended honeymoon. But anyways, besides that, Brendan, any surprises in that? What do you think?
I don't necessarily think so. I think it's probably fair that the Steelheads have dropped a little bit in the CHL rankings. I mean, they had a pretty good weekend, and they're starting to get things back on track, and I would expect them to definitely move up the rankings, going forward. I think that's definitely in the cards for them. So I wouldn't say there's anything really surprising on here when you look at the OHL teams. Windsor has been a force to be reckoned with early on in the year. I mean, their offense is just scoring at a crazy rate right now. So they move up into 6th place. I think that's pretty fair. London still hanging around that top 10, and they're always going to be around there, so that's understandable. The Ice Dogs, the one I say it's surprising just because of where the Ice Dogs have been in the past few years, but the start they've gotten off to, I think they're definitely worthy of being in that conversation.
Right now.
Yeah, well, right now, of course,
sure.
But that's what the rankings are for, is right this moment. I'm not saying they're going to be there at the end of the year. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying right now.
Right now, 100%. And you really have to give them a lot of credit. I feel like I've said that quite a bit on this program.
Yeah,
but you do.
They play well.
Yeah, I mean, and not to say that it lasts the whole year. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But just to be able to come out and start the year the way they have and get off to this start after the last few years is obviously really big for that organization.
Good for them. Exactly. Good for them. You know what? Bruce Boudreau seems like he's doing Bruce Boudreau. Ben Boudreau, or Bruce's son, is doing a great job coaching over there. So good for them. They're sitting in 9th right now in the OHL top 10. Kevin Heath having a big year. We talked about that before. So good for them. They're staying, 2 weeks in a row. They're in the top 10. So good for them. Good for them. Let's see how long the honeymoon stays for. If it is a honeymoon or if it's actually a marriage. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah, I think
does it? Yeah, okay. All right, so let's talk about back to the Steelheads, of course. So we all know, we all know that Carson Rakoff, Mac Donnell, and Martone have done a great job up front. I just feel that they need that secondary scoring, Brendan, and we talked about this on the broadcast and whatnot during the intermissions. In your mind, I'll start off with you, I guess, and then I'll move it on to me. Who needs to? I know it's early, but who needs to step up?
Yeah, I mean, it is tough to say because it is so early on in the year, and you expect, everybody is still kind of getting in the swing of things a little bit. But I think just going off of past years and in guys that I think are big cogs in the wheel of the Steelheads team, and guys that I think will definitely produce as the year goes on. It maybe just has taken them a little bit longer to get in the groove. I think if you look at somebody like Mason Zabeski, who's been huge for this team. In the past, he's kind of moved. He played on the second line a little bit last year. He's in the top 6 a little bit now with the talent they have. He's moved into the bottom 6. He's been playing a lot with Jack Van Volsen and Adam Zidlicki on that third line. I think maybe that's why you see the production taking a little bit of a hit, because he's kind of moved out of that role that he was in before. So he's a name that I think will start to produce here going forward, and when he does, that'll be massive for the Steelheads. I think kind of also in that same conversation is Jack Van Volsen, who will probably be in there. Even a Kieran Witkowski now in his second year. There's guys where I think that we will start to see that here as we get a little bit further into the year.
That's perfect. That's perfect analysis right there. You know what? After the first game against the Brantford Bulldogs, 7 different scores. The secondary scoring was there. Absolutely destroyed. Domination of the Brantford Bulldogs. So they're going to need that again. They're going to need that scoring to come. And you know what? It's going to come in bunches, but Van Volsen's going to have to be more, in my opinion, consistent. Consistency is the key. Van Volsen's going to have to be consistent. Carmiris is going to have to be consistent, even though Carmiris' two-way game is unbelievable, right? Zabeski, he needs to get back to where he was last year, and he's getting there. I thought he had a really strong weekend actually against Saginaw and Ottawa. So he's getting there big time. I think I think they're just due. I think they're going to be just fine actually with the secondary score.
No, I agree. I personally agree.
Yeah, 100%. Just right now they're a little bit of a lull, and that's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it before. Not just like winning and losing games, but players on the roster as well. You're going to go through that at different times of year,
Yeah.
and this just happens to kind of be near the beginning of the year. But again, like I said, I don't have any doubts that the names that I mentioned or anybody else will produce as the year goes on. It just has maybe gotten off to a little bit of a slow start.
Exactly. That's all it is a slow start. And yeah, I expect Sebeski to step up. I expect Luke Misa to step up. Luke Misa,
Yep.
Luke Misa is going to get up there. They're going to be just fine with the secondary scoring. And when they do, if it's like if they get back to which we're confident they're going to, look out, everybody. This is why this team is ranked number 3 in the country. So
Right.
If there's any doubters out there, how about this? You come down to the CAA Center and check it out and be the judge for yourself. So
Yes, I
recommend that. I recommend that. All right, so let's tee up the next games here, my friend. Barry coming up Friday night, and you're going to be on the call on that one. And I'll be working color with you, and we're looking forward to that first. And we'll talk about that game first, and Guelph on Sunday.
Yeah, so the Barry game, it's kind of funny. I mean, I feel like they play them every other day. Like,
This is third time, eh?
It's crazy.
Oh,
So yeah, third time in October that we're going to see them play against the Barry Colts. Both times have been in Barry, so this is the first time Barry's going to be coming to Brampton.
Mm-hmm.
They win the first one. Barry was kind of shorthanded. Isn't really the same team that we saw or that we will see coming up this week. And then they were at full strength the last time the Steelheads played them in Barrie. So I think that game's probably a better barometer of what's going to be kind of going on in this game coming up. I think for the Steelheads, it's all about starting the game fast, which they've done here recently, but then kind of just sustaining that a little bit, into the game. I think that's maybe where it's been lost a little bit. The starts are good, and then there's a little bit of a lull, and they let the team back into it.
Right.
So I think that just kind of sustaining the energy. And when we talked to James Richmond, that's kind of what he said. He just wants to see more fight, more pace with the team playing with. And also having Jack Ivankovic in the net is going to be huge to get him back in the goal. Of course, the last time they faced off, Jacob Gibbons was in goal, and he played pretty well. I think it was 51, 52 shots that Barry threw at 53. Okay, yeah, 53 shots that Barry threw at him. So to allow 4 goals, 49 saves, I would take that. But still, just having your number one guy back in there is going to give you a little more confidence as well. And yeah, I think that's going to be huge for them on Friday.
This is a huge rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely huge rivalry, right? I mean, both teams know what they're going to bring to each other. You know what I mean? Like Brantford. Barry knows what Brampton's going to bring. Brampton knows what Barry's going to bring. 2 great coaches, Marty Williamson, James Richmond, head-to-head. It doesn't get any better than that for Friday night. I think the key to that game is going to have to be the compete level, because that Barry's going to come out flying. And they usually always do against anybody right now with the team that they have. They added Dallin Wakely, they added Brad Gardner, Bertucci. My goodness, they already have Baudouin up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Aitchison in the back end. Hey, so and don't forget the way it ended last time with Kate.
I was going to say,
getting a 2-game suspension. With a little bit of unnecessary punches on Porter Martone. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, they were kind of going at it all game, and then it just gets boiled over at the end. But this is going to be his first game back from suspension too.
It is. Oh, yeah,
so,
right.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think they'll probably get reacquainted in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, these teams don't like each other, folks. That's what we're trying to say. They don't like each other. But I think the key is competitive. I think the key is compete level. They got to compete. Every 4 lines, they got to be really, 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 really playing well against this Barrie team, because they're going to bring it and bring the physicality against this Barrie team, and they should be okay.
Yep. No, completely.
100%. All right, so let's move on. Guelph Storm, and that's going to be coming up on Trout Talk, right after Trout Talk at 4 p.m. Actually, it's going to be a 4 p.m. start from the Sleeman Center in Guelph. Guelph Storm. This is a team that doesn't have Jet Luchenko right now, who's still in Philadelphia with the Flyers. And apparently John Tortorella absolutely loves him. So, yeah. So I'm not sure if he's going to be coming back. Let's just say that. And, here's a team, Brennan. Here's a team. It's been kind of snake bit the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
Poitras last year stays with the Bruins. And now Luchenko, another one of their best players, stays with Guelph. But It's going to be a tough one for the Steelheads because it's tough to play over there, number one. Number two, Corey Stillman's a good coach, heck of a coach. And he's got a really good coaching staff, and they got a really good, young, hardworking team, and they're big. They got a good goaltender in Gillespie over there. So it's going to be tough, but I think the Steelheads should be okay in that game. But, well, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's no, yeah. It's a bit of a slow start for Guelph this year. I think probably most people thought that they'd be a little bit better to start the year, but like you said, they have been a little bit stagnant with some of their guys staying in NHL camps probably longer than they, or maybe not just camps, even Potter staying there last year. And now Jet Luchenko playing into the season with Philadelphia. With guys that they probably didn't necessarily think were going to be spending as much time in the NHL as they are. And Luchenko, like you said, I mean, it seems like John Tortorella absolutely loves him. So that's got to be pretty cool for the guy. You know, you go up there, you're a young player, you get a shot to play, and John Tortorella, who's as from all accounts, a very good coach, a very hard coach to play for.
You're getting a compliment from him.
Yeah, you must be doing something right if John Tortorella is complimenting you. But yeah, so that's got to be pretty cool for him. But yeah, the Guelph Storm, they've gotten out to a little bit of a slow start this year, and if you're the Steelheads, you have to capitalize on that, and you just have to realize that again, it hasn't been how Guelph kind of saw it shaking out early on in the year, and just really continue to I don't want to say kick them while they're down, but kind of like that. I mean, like, you just got it, like you said, it's similar. You just have to bring a lot of energy. Guelph's a tough place to play, so going in there, bringing energy, scoring early is a good way to get the crowd out of it, and that's going to go a long way in that game.
Yeah, Guelph, they're coming on, so they're going to be coming off a 3-3 on Saturday. They're going to be playing the Barrie Colts, and then at home against the Steelheads. So I guess let's hope that Barrie, takes a little life out of them, I guess, as you can say, and then we jump all over them because we're not playing on Saturday. So we have we have the day off in the rink on Saturday, which is kind of weird, huh? Doesn't that feel good? Tell you the truth. I mean, I don't know, and in a good way. I mean, everybody deserves a day off.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Brendan Lang. All right, my man. So, life tips. Let's get to life tips.
Sorry. Before we get to life tips, you want to talk quickly about the
preliminary.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I totally forgot. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the preliminary NHL preliminary Central Scouting list just came out. Porter Martone, no surprise, is an A, and 2 other players are on there, Brendan.
Yeah, Porter Martone is an A. You see Jack Ivankovic as well in the B category, and I think that's probably fair. I do think he's the best goalie in the draft. And goalies, it's tough to go first. I know we saw that with Askarov in Nashville a little while ago, but most of the time you don't see goalies getting drafted in the first round. So I see the B ranking as being pretty on point, seeing in the second and third rounds. I think we definitely see Ivan Kovic going in that range. Lucas Carbiers as well on the list. I think he's a C ranking, so that's around like the 5th round. Again, I think that's probably a pretty fair ranking. And again, these are early rankings. Like, they're going to change as the season goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you also have Gabe Sherrod and Luke Dragusika in there as well. And they're ranked in that like 6th, 7th round range. So quite a few guys. You had quite a few guys drafted last year by the Steelheads, and I think it's going to be the same this year.
That's just like kudos to James Richmond and staff. Like, just again producing NHL talent guys that are getting drafted every single year, and that's what it's all about, developing and winning as well. But I think he's the best at developing, him and his staff. And I'll keep saying this all the time. Like, he's I think Carson Rakoff said it best. He's a player's coach, but at the same time, he's tough at the same time, right? And he's always been good to us. So to say, so he's a man's man, and I'll keep saying that.
Yeah, you're right with the development aspect of it. It's definitely true. Also, too, we didn't mention, but Porter Martone and Jack Ivankovic announced to the roster for the first
there it is.
U.S. The CHL against the United States Development Program. That's going to be played a little later on here. So the first iteration of it. So it's pretty cool to see 2 guys from the Steelheads to get named to that roster.
That's awesome. I think they're going to do just fine. Like, you imagine Jack just shuts him out. against the U.S. National Development Program. You know, here's a guy. Actually, the guy, what's his name? Epperson. He came from there, right? From Saginaw.
He did,
So,
yeah.
he came from there. But anyways, yeah, that should be awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Porter, he should dominate that game. I think in my mind, I think Jack's going to be just fine. Yeah, great accomplishment for those two.
Yeah.
And for the guys that are on the Central Scouting list, as you mentioned, you know, Carmiras, Dragusica and company, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So good for them, and I'm sure they're going to get drafted. Just the beginning, folks. They can move up. Hey,
Yeah.
they can move up.
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
all right. So one last thing, one life tip, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right.
let's
So
hear
I
it.
have to say this. So that dog in the backyard that I was talking about that just goes
Update.
crazy.
Yes.
Well, apparently it's been replaced with a little chihuahua or something. So now at nighttime, instead of the big bark, right? Instead of the big bark at nighttime, now I hear a little bark. I thought
That
it was
might
a
be
raccoon
worse.
or something in the backyard. Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, that's all I hear at nighttime. And I
So
know,
they've just
tell me
like
about it.
they've switched dogs.
They swap dogs. That's what it seems like. I don't know. It's coming from the same spot. Don't
and
ask
they don't
me. I
and
have
they don't bring
no
their dog
idea.
inside. Like it's
Well,
bad.
yeah, for like 15 minutes. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. We don't know what's going on. All right.
That's
You
no
got
good.
anything? You got anything?
Oh, I think that's a good
All
one.
right,
we
so
needed the dog
keep
update.
your dog inside.
Yeah,
the dog
there you
update,
go.
but keep your come on, folks. I mean, don't keep your dog outside all night. So, anyways, because that's bad. I'm a dog lover.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything, Brendan?
Oh no. I don't have anything for me.
All right, so that's gonna do it for this episode of Trout Talk right here on Saga 960 AM, or if you're watching on YouTube. So for my partner Brendan Lang, I'm Mike Karafilidis. Stay tuned after at 4 p.m. Guelph Storm and the Brampton Steelheads coming up. We'll see you next time, folks.